Welcome to the Mortuary Masterclass, brought to you by the Champion Company, where preservation meets purpose, and every step is part of your journey to safer solutions. In this episode, we're talking about something you use every single day, but almost nobody actually breaks down: methanol and isopropanol exposure. Ever had that moment mid-case, machine running, fluid mixed, maybe a splash hits the table, and you think, what am I actually breathing right now? Not panicking, just curious. Because depending on who you ask, it's either don't worry about it or you're breathing everything in. So let's settle it. There was a study that didn't just look at this, they pushed it. Real prep room, real conditions, then they turned exposure all the way up. 3 gallons of arterial solution worked across the table like a normal case. Then another 48 ounces dumped directly onto the surface and left there for 30 minutes. No cleanup, no correction, just letting it sit and evaporate. And everything was measured right where you're standing during a case. Breathing zone, chest height. Then they ran it 2 ways: no ventilation, no precautions, and then again with ventilation. Same setup, same exposure, just airflow added. Here's the part most people don't expect. The levels didn't just keep climbing. They cycled. They'd rise, level out, then drop back down. Now take ventilation away. You'd expect a big spike. It did go up, but not the way people assume. Same pattern: rise, peak, settle, even across a full 90-minute window. So instead of this steady buildup everyone worries about, it behaved more like a wave. And when you line that up with current guidance from OSHA and NIOSH, isopropanol limits sit around 400 parts per million over an 8-hour day. Methanol around 200 parts per million. Even in that pushed worst-case setup, the exposure levels stayed well below those limits. Now here's the twist. Ventilation helped, but not dramatically. And that throws people off. But it makes sense. These alcohols evaporate fast and disperse fast. So instead of building and building, they hit a point and level out. Airflow matters. It's just not the whole story. So where does the real risk actually show up? Not floating around in the air like most people assume. It's right in front of you. Splashes, skin contact, handling concentrated solution without proper PPE. That's where things actually matter. And that lines up with what the CDC and NIOSH still reinforce today. That dermal exposure and handling habits are often the bigger factor in real-world prep room conditions. So when you step back and look at it, this isn't about saying there's no risk. It's about understanding where the risk actually lives. Because most of the time, it's not the vapor, it's the habits. The skipped gloves, the quick adjustment, that this'll only take a second kind of moment. Ever notice how those are the ones that catch up with you? That's where these shift, from concern to control. Because with the basics done right, gloves, eye protection, ventilation, intentional handling, you're already keeping things well within safe, regulated ranges. And that's really the next step forward. Not fear, not guessing, just understanding what's actually happening so you can work with confidence. Because the data doesn't say it's risk-free, it says it's manageable, predictable, and directly tied to how you work. And that's where this profession keeps evolving, not by throwing out what built it, but by refining it, understanding it, and moving forward with better awareness. That's the next step. That's your on-ramp to safer solutions. Thanks for tuning in to this special edition of the Mortuary Masterclass, championing the prep room with purpose, because embalmers matter, and every step forward is part of your journey to safer solutions. That's the champion difference.